The Bracero program was a guest worker program between the United States and Mexico. It lasted from 1942 to 1964, created to address labor shortages during World War II. It allowed Mexican laborers, known as Braceros, to work on U.S. farms. Over 4.6 million contracts were issued, making it one of the largest guest worker programs in U.S. history. The Bracero program had a profound impact on U.S. agriculture. The influx of Mexican workers helped to ensure the continued production of essential crops. American farmers faced significant labor shortages during and after World War II. The Bracero program provided a vital source of workers to fill these gaps. Braceros played a critical role in maintaining agricultural productivity across the United States. Their labor was particularly important in states like California, Texas, and Arizona. These states relied heavily on seasonal farm workers. The program allowed farmers to expand their operations and increase their output. The Bracero program also contributed to the stabilization of food prices. By ensuring a steady supply of agricultural products, the program helped to keep food costs down for American consumers. This was particularly important during the war years, when rationing and inflation were major concerns. The program's impact on U.S. agriculture extended beyond its immediate effects. It shaped the development of certain agricultural practices and industries. For example, the reliance on Bracero labor contributed to the growth of large-scale, industrialized farming operations. This, in turn, had long-term consequences for the organization and structure of American agriculture. The Bracero program, while providing labor for U.S. agriculture, was marred by controversy surrounding the treatment of Mexican workers. Braceros often faced difficult working conditions and were paid lower wages than their American counterparts. These disparities fueled criticism of the program and raised concerns about exploitation. The contracts signed by Braceros often included provisions for housing, food, and transportation. However, the quality of these provisions varied widely. Many workers found themselves living in cramped and unsanitary conditions. Food rations were sometimes inadequate, and healthcare access was limited. Wage disparities were a major point of contention. Braceros were often paid significantly less than American workers for the same work. This wage gap created resentment among both Mexican and American laborers. It also contributed to the economic vulnerability of the Bracero population. The poor working conditions and wage disparities faced by Braceros highlighted broader issues of labor rights and social justice. The program became a focal point for activists and labor organizers who sought to improve the treatment of migrant workers. Their efforts laid the groundwork for future movements advocating for the rights of immigrants and low-wage workers. The Bracero program's effects extended beyond agriculture, influencing the broader U.S. economy. It impacted wages and labor dynamics, particularly in low-skilled jobs. Some argue it suppressed wages, while others say it freed up American workers for higher-paying jobs. The program's long-term effects on labor dynamics are complex. Section 5. A Tale of Two Countries. The Bracero program's effect on Mexico. The Bracero program had significant and multifaceted effects on Mexico. While the program provided economic opportunities for individual workers, its impact on the Mexican economy as a whole is a subject of debate. One perspective emphasizes the positive aspects of the program for Mexico. The flow of remittances from Braceros working in the United States provided a vital source of income for many Mexican families. These remittances helped to improve living standards and support local economies in Mexico. Furthermore, proponents highlight the skills and experience gained by Braceros while working in the United States. They argue that returning workers brought back new agricultural techniques and knowledge that could be applied to improve Mexican agriculture. However, critics point to the program's potential negative consequences for Mexico. They argue that the large-scale migration of workers to the United States exacerbated existing labor shortages in Mexico. This, in turn, could have hindered economic development in certain regions. Moreover, the departure of so many men from rural communities had social consequences. It placed additional burdens on women and children left behind and may have disrupted traditional family structures. Section 6. The flow of money, remittances, and the Mexican economy. Remittances sent back to Mexico by Braceros played a significant role in the Mexican economy during the program's operation. These remittances represented a vital source of income for many families, particularly those in rural communities. The money sent back by Braceros often went directly to supporting basic needs, such as food, clothing, and housing. This influx of cash helped to improve living standards and alleviate poverty in some areas. Remittances also provided capital for investment in small businesses and local economies. The impact of remittances extended beyond individual families. The Mexican government recognized the importance of these funds and took steps to encourage their flow. They established programs to facilitate the transfer of money and provided incentives for braceros to send money back home. However, the reliance on remittances also had its drawbacks. It created a dependence on income earned abroad, which could be disrupted by economic downturns or changes in U.S. immigration policy. Additionally, the focus on remittances may have diverted attention and resources from developing a more robust and self-sufficient domestic economy. Section 7. Seeds of Change. The Bracero Program's legacy on immigration policy. The Bracero program had a lasting impact on U.S. immigration policy, shaping future debates and legislation related to guest worker programs and border control. The program's legacy is complex and multifaceted. On one hand, it demonstrated the potential for a managed migration system to address labor shortages and facilitate economic cooperation between countries. On the other hand, the program's history of worker exploitation and its role in shaping perceptions of Mexican immigration continue to fuel controversy. The end of the Bracero program in 1964 did not stop the flow of Mexican migrants to the United States. In fact, the demand for agricultural labor persisted, leading to an increase in undocumented immigration. The program's conclusion, coupled with stricter border control measures, contributed to the growth of a clandestine and often dangerous system for crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. The Bracero program's legacy continues to inform discussions about immigration reform and guest worker programs. Policymakers often look to the program's successes and failures when considering new initiatives aimed at addressing labor shortages while ensuring the fair treatment of migrant workers. Section 8. Echoes of the Past. The Bracero program in modern debates. The Bracero program remains relevant in contemporary discussions about immigration, labor rights, and the historical relationship between the United States and Mexico. The program's legacy continues to shape public opinion and political discourse on these issues. The program's history of worker exploitation resonates with concerns about the treatment of undocumented immigrants in the United States today. The low wages, poor working conditions, and lack of legal protections experienced by braceros are often cited as examples of the vulnerabilities faced by undocumented workers in various industries. Moreover, the Bracero program serves as a historical reference point in debates about guest worker programs. Proponents of such programs often point to the program's role in addressing labor shortages and facilitating economic growth. However, opponents raise concerns about the potential for worker exploitation and the possible negative consequences for domestic labor markets. The Bracero program's legacy also highlights the deep interconnectedness between the U.S. and Mexican economies. The program's history demonstrates the long-standing reliance of certain U.S. industries on Mexican labor, a dynamic that persists today. Understanding this historical context is crucial for developing comprehensive and sustainable immigration policies. Section 9. Conclusion. A complicated legacy. The Bracero program stands as a complex and often contradictory chapter in the history of U.S.-Mexico relations. It provided much-needed labor for U.S. agriculture, contributing to economic growth and food security. However, it also exposed the vulnerabilities of migrant workers and raised concerns about exploitation and social justice. The program's legacy continues to shape contemporary debates about immigration, labor rights, and the economic relationship between the United States and Mexico. Understanding the Bracero program's successes and failures is crucial for crafting effective and humane immigration policies that address the needs of both countries while ensuring the fair treatment of all workers. As we grapple with the challenges of globalization and cross-border migration in the 21st century, The lessons learned from the Bracero program remain as relevant as ever.